Hello students. So today we are going to start the next part of this enhancement of food production, and in this is enhancement of food production part 7. So we have seen the microorganisms and their role in the human welfare in our last lecture. We have studied that how much the microorganisms they are helpful in various industries. For example, we have studied that microbes they a vital role in food preparation. Their role in the food products like dosa, dhokla, and idli. All the products they get formed, they get fermented because of the airborne microorganism species which are present in the air, and these are Leuconostoc and Streptococcus species of the bacteria, which form a carbon dioxide during fermentation, which causes the puffing of the dough. Okay, and we have also studied that the microbes they are used as the source of food, and we have took the example of single cell protein, that is SCP. Apart from that, we have studied that the number of microorganisms they play a very important role in dairy products like the curd formation, yogurt formation, buttermilk, and cheese. Various kinds of cheeses they get formed because of the activities of various microorganisms. So we have studied in detail about that. Today we are going to discuss the role of microorganisms in industrial production. So during fermentation, variety of products like alcoholic beverages, organic acids, vitamins, growth hormones, enzymes, antibiotics they are produced. So this is important while talking about the industrial role of the microorganisms, because they are helpful in the formation of alcoholic beverages, they are helpful in the formation of organic acids, vitamins, growth hormones, enzymes, antibiotics, etc. So, production on an industrial scale requires growing microbes in very large vessel, and that vessel is called as fermenter. So, fermenter is a kind of utensil which is large in size, and as we are talking about the production of anything that we are going to produce or that we want to obtain in a tremendous amount or in huge amount, or in an industrial scale. So for that the growth of microorganisms is important. Okay, so these fermenters they are used. The main function of a fermenter is to provide a controlled environment for growth of microorganism. What is the function of the fermenter is? The fermenter it provides a controlled environment, whether you talk about the oxygen level, the carbon dioxide level, or the temperature, or the pH, whatever you are talking about. So all each and every the thing is get maintained or controlled by the fermenters. Okay, and this is very important because we want the microorganisms to grow. Okay, so we mix different kind of mixture of microorganisms to obtain the desired product. So not only a single microorganism but number of microorganisms they are mixed together and they are added, and then we get the product. So production of alcoholic beverages. Beverage is a liquid used for or prepared for drinking. Example, tea, coffee, beer, wine. These are various kinds of stimulant, or these are various kind of beverages. Okay. So alcoholic beverages, they are products of alcoholic fermentation of specific substrates. Use of microbes in making alcoholic beverage is known since Vedic period, so long back it is used. Microbes, especially yeast, have been used for a time immemorial for the production of beverages like wine, beer, whiskey, brandy, rum. So all they are produced. For their production, the commonly used microorganism is the yeast. Okay, so that is the starter. For this purpose, the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae, sometimes uh, it is called as brewer's yeast, is used for fermenting malted cereals and fruit juices to produce ethanol. So, because of the fermentation of the malted cereals and juices, we get the ultimate end product that is called as ethanol. Among the beverages, wine and beer, they are produced without distillation. So there is a distillation process. Some products they are without distillation, and some like whiskey, brandy, and rum they are distilled beverages. So tubular tower fermenter is used for a large scale production of alcohols. You can see in the diagram how it looks. See, this is the heat exchanger pump. This is yeast movement. This is the tower. Okay, this is the fermenter. Now you can observe the color. Okay, so this is another color where alcohol is, by this distillation process, the alcohol it gets collected. Okay, so several traditional drinks of and foods they are also made through fermentation by yeast. Today a traditional drink of the coastal region in South India is made by fermenting the sugar sap extracted from the palm plants and coconut palm. The famous wine of Goa, traditionally known as Feni, is made by fermenting fleshy pedicels of cashew fruits. So various kinds of fruits they are used, as you can observe that cashew nuts they are used. Sometimes the sugar fermented sugar is collected. That extract is collected from palm plants and coconut palms, etc. So, production of organic acids now. Microbes are also used for the commercial and industrial production of certain organic acids. These compounds can be produced directly from glucose. Example, gluconic acid, or formed as end products from pyruvate or ethanol. So the organic acid in C, you can see the microorganisms which are used for the production of that organic acid. Different kinds of microbes they are used for different kinds of organic acids, like citric acid. For that, Aspergillus niger is used. Gluconic acid, Aspergillus niger is used. For fumaric acid, Rhizopus is used. Acetic acid, that is called as vinegar, Acidobacter is used. So these are the microorganisms which are used. So you can observe that number of microorganisms there are different kinds of microorganisms they are used for different types of organic acids. The organic acids are further used variously. For example, citric acid is used in confectionery, fumaric acid in resin as wearing agents, and gluconic acid in medicine for solubility of calcium ions. So these are the further uses of organic acids, and for their further use we need the production of organic acid. So production of vitamins now. Vitamins are some organic nitrogenous compounds which are capable of performing many life sustaining functions inside our body. This is very important function of vitamins which are present. Okay. These compounds cannot be synthesized by humans except vitamin D, and therefore they have to be supplied in small amounts in the diet, so we can get the other vitamins through the supplements. So microbes are capable of synthesizing the vitamins, and hence they can be successfully used for the commercial production of many of the vitamins like thiamine, riboflavin, pyridoxine, folic acid, pantothenic acid, biotin, vitamin B12, ascorbic acid, beta carotene, and provitamin D. So these are different kinds of vitamins which are produced. So vitamins are manufactured by fermentation using different microbial sources as mentioned below. Now, name of the vitamin is vitamin, for example, B2 is obtained by a microbial source, Neurospora, vitamin B12, Pseudomonas, vitamin C, Aspergillus niger. Production of antibiotics now. Antibiotics are probably the most important group of compounds synthesized by the industrial microorganisms. So, most antibiotics are a secondary metabolites. They have therapeutic importance and are used in medical treatment. So, whenever we get fever or some infection, so doctors they give, or stomach pain like that, so doctors they give antibiotics. So these are produced in small amounts by certain microbes like bacteria, fungi, and few algae, which inhibit the growth of other microbial pathogens. Therefore, they are used as medicines. The antibiotics are antibacterial and antifungal. Antibacterial, they don't allow the growth of bacterial cells, they don't allow the growth of fungi. So, antibiotics have greatly improved over capacity to treat deadly diseases such as plague, whooping cough, diphtheria, leprosy, etc. Okay, so some common antibiotics and their microbial sources they are listed. Antibiotic produced chloromycetin, microbial sources streptomyces, erythromycin, penicillin, streptomycin. So these are the kind of antibiotics which are produced, and these are the microbial sources. Production of enzymes now. In living beings, enzymes play a key role in metabolic reactions, and therefore these are essential for the survival of such beings. Okay, so enzymes are proteins known as biocatalysts. So enzymes they act as biocatalysts in our body. Another part is due to their ability to promote reactions more quickly at body temperature and more efficiently, many microbes synthesize and excrete large quantities of enzymes into surrounding medium. Using this feature of these tiny organisms, many enzymes they are produced commercially. So these are the enzymes, they are extracellular. They get extracted outside the bacterial cell. These are amylases, cellulases, protease, lipase, pectinates, streptokinase, and many other enzymes. They are produced commercially. Several industrial sectors use enzymes from microorganisms for specific applications. So there are some enzymes which are used very specifically in some industries. In the textile industry, enzymes are able to improve the quality of fabrics. In the pulp and pulp paper industry, they are involved in biomechanical pulping and bleaching. In the food industry, they are used in the fermentation processes for the production of bread and drinks such as wine, beer. Also, they participate in the extraction of substances such as carotenoids and olive oil. So, are you getting this point? Here we are talking, we are not specifying the area of the microorganisms. Okay, in the textile industry, their role is completely different. They are used to improve the quality of the fabric. Okay, while in the pulp and paper industry, they are involved in pulping and bleaching. Now that part is important, and some of them they are used for the fermentation process to get a good amount or good quality of bread, good quality of wine and beer, and they can also used in the extraction of some substances like carotenoids, olive oil, lipases. They are used in detergent industry because they have superior cleaning properties, increasing the brightness and removing of oil stains. They are also used in cosmetics, animal feed, and agricultural industries. Okay, so that part is again very important. Following are the few examples of enzymes. The name of the enzyme is invertase, and the microbial source is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, pectinase, Aspergillus niger, lipase, any one name you have to remember. Now, gibberellin production. Gibberellin is a group of growth hormones mainly produced by higher plants and fungi to promote growth by stem elongation. Okay, so gibberellin is another kind of hormone which is called as growth hormone, which is produced in higher plants and fungi. We have talked about it while studying the kingdom plant day, if you remember that part. So the first gibberellin was isolated by the two Japanese scientists. About 15 different types of gibberellins have been isolated. Gibberellins have many practical applications. They are used to induce parthenocarpy in apple, pear, etc. Parthenocarpy is the development of a fruit without prior fertilization. Okay, for that, this gibberellin is used. That hormone is used. Another part is they are used in breaking the dormancy of seed and also in inducing the flowering in long day plants, that is LDP, long day plants. They are also used to enlarge the size of grapefruit. So these are various kinds of applications of the gibberellin hormone. Another is the microorganisms in the sewage treatment. Now, sewage is a matter carried off in a drainage. It is municipal waste containing human excreta, household waste, dissolved organic matter, and even pathogenic microorganisms. So these are different kinds of microorganisms which are found to be present in the sewage, that is bacteria, viruses, protozoa, nematodes, and microfungi. It also includes discharged water from hospital waste, slaughterhouse waste, animal dung, etc. And apart from that, discharge from the industrial waste contains toxic dissolved organic and inorganic chemicals like tannery, pharmaceutical waste, and at sewage, etc. Okay, so that part is important. What is the composition of sewage? You understand that. Now, what is composition of sewage? Sewage consists of approximately 99.5% to 99.9% of water and 0.1 to 0.5% of inorganic and organic matter in suspended and soluble form. Composition of sewage varies depending upon the type of waste discharged into water from different industries. So these are different kinds of industries and their waste product is completely different. Okay, so that part, so according to that, whether that discharge is coming from textile industries, whether it is from chemicals or pharmaceuticals or from dairy industry or meat packing, or so depending on that, the discharge waste discharged which are getting in the water, they are different, so the composition of sewage get varied. So microorganisms in the sewage. Now various types of microorganisms they are present in the sewage of bacteria. Okay, bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, these are the different types of microorganisms which are found to be present in the sewage. Now this is important. Okay, however, the number and type there fluctuate depends upon the sewage composition and source of sewage. Raw sewage may contain millions of bacteria per ml. These include coliforms like E. coli, fecal streptococci, anaerobic spore forming bacilli, and other types of originating in the intestinal tract of humans. Now, this part is important. Before wastewater is made available for human use, it has to be treated properly so as to remove organic matter, inorganic salts, and pathogens as well. So, sewage treatment process includes four basic steps. So, these are various kinds of steps which are involved in the treatment of sewage. So, before going to each and every step, I think this diagram is first we will try to understand this diagram. Now this is the diagrammatic representation of various stages in the wastewater treatment. Now this is the wastewater. The first is screening, the first step. Second is grit setting, preliminary treatment to remove the heavy solids. At this stage the heavy solids they are removed. Then this is the primary treatment, where the removal of suspended solid particles takes place. The settled sewage, it the sewage gets settled. Okay. Then secondary treatment, where the aeration tank, where the aerobic bacteria, they play very important role. The tertiary treatment, it is the treated effluent. Okay. From the aerobic bacterial treatment, that is aeration tank, the activated sludge, it gets transferred to the anaerobic bioreactor, that is called as digester, where anaerobic bacteria, they treat the sewage, okay, or whatever the part is coming in that reactor. And the treated effluent, it is that part is again the water is used. Okay, so that water is recycled after this digestion or anaerobic bacterial uh, reaction or action. The sludge cakes, they are ready to dispose. Okay, so by this tertiary treatment, the water is ready to recycle, and by this anaerobic bioreactor, we get the sludge cake to for the disposal. Okay, so that's all the about the diagrammatic representation, which are these are the various stages which are involved in the wastewater treatment. Okay, so if you remember this diagram, it becomes very easy to explain the steps which are involved in the sewage treatment. Okay, so in the sewage treatment, we are going to study the primary treatment, uh, where primary treatment, which is a physical treatment, again secondary treatment, tertiary treatment. Okay, and after that, how the water is recycled, or how the digested sludge get disposed, that we are going to discuss. But uh, for today, that's all. So let's talk about the steps involved in the sewage treatment in detail tomorrow, in the tomorrow session. So that's all for today's session. Thank you.